Lamine Yamal is only 19 years old. He is already a European champion, a world champion.
Hostia, hermano. Te algo, hermano.
And Barcelona's main attacking reference. That alone sounds ridiculous, but the real reason you will never look at him the same way again is not his age. It is how quickly he has taken control of football's biggest matches. For more than 15 years, the game belonged to Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Together, they won 13 Ballon d'Or awards and defined an entire generation. Then came the image that made the change of era impossible to ignore. Lionel Messi, now 39, watched Spain lift the World Cup after defeating Argentina. On the other side stood Yamal, the child Messi had once held in his arms. Nearly 2 decades later, that baby had become a world champion. But don't get me wrong, a photograph does not make anyone an heir. A shirt number does not give anyone the crown. Yamal is earning it on the pitch. And to become a world champion at just 19, Lamine Yamal had to go through Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, and Lionel Messi. 3 icons from 3 different generations stood between him and the trophy. Spain eliminated every one of them. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. Before turning 20, Yamal had already won 3 La Liga titles, 2 Spanish Super Cups, 1 Copa del Rey, 1 European Championship, and 1 World Cup. 8 official trophies, dream numbers. Cristiano Ronaldo had only won the Portuguese Super Cup at a similar age. Messi was already showing signs of greatness, but he was not yet carrying Barcelona's attack. Yamal is already deciding matches for club and country. And this is no coincidence. His era truly began at Euro 2024. At 16, he became the youngest player to appear in the tournament, the youngest to provide an assist, and the youngest goalscorer in European Championship history. The biggest statement came against France. Spain were losing in the semi-final when Yamal received the ball on the right, moved inside and curled an unbelievable finish off the post and into the net. A teenager scoring that goal in a European Championship semi-final against France. An absolute madness. In the final, he assisted Nico Williams as Spain won the trophy. Yamal finished the tournament as champion and best young player. That was not a talented youngster enjoying a good summer. That was a superstar announcing himself. And France have been asking the same question ever since. How do you stop Lamine Yamal? 1 year later, Spain faced them again in the Nations League semi-final. Spain won 5-4. Yamal scored twice. He received between the lines, drove towards the box, and forced France's defenders to keep retreating. Then came the 2026 World Cup. Another semi-final against France. Another Spanish victory, this time 2-0. Yamal constantly attacked the left side of the French defence. He alternated outside dribbles with diagonal runs inside, helped create a decisive set-piece situation, and later had a goal ruled out for offside. That is what elite players do. But this is not all. Yamal has been just as decisive for Barcelona. During the 2024-25 season, he produced 17 goals and 20 assists in 53 appearances, helping Barca win La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Super Cup. 37 goal contributions as a teenager, and he delivered against Real Madrid. He scored in the 4-0 victory at the Bernabeu, scored again in the Spanish Super Cup final, and produced 2 assists in the Copa del Rey final. In the League Clásico in May 2025, he registered 7 shots, 5 on target, 4 successful dribbles, and 3 big chances created. Those are not the numbers of a youngster simply learning. Those are the numbers of someone dominating the biggest match in Spanish football. Against Inter Milan in the Champions League semi-finals, Yamal scored in the first leg and completed 14 dribbles in the return match. Barcelona were eliminated, but Yamal kept them alive until the end. And the scariest part is that he is still improving. At first, Yamal looked like an extraordinary 1-versus-1 winger. Give him space near the touchline, and he would beat the fullback. Now he can affect the entire attack. He can stay wide and stretch the pitch. He can move inside and receive between the lines. He can attract several defenders and release Pedri or Dani Olmo. He can create through crosses, disguised passes, carries, and movement without the ball. He is no longer dangerous in one zone. He is dangerous everywhere. That is why the Ballon d'Or conversation is completely serious. Yamal has the collective trophies, the individual production, and the performances in major matches. He has already won the Golden Boy, the Copa Trophy, and the award for Best Young Player at the Euros. The next step is obvious. He can win the Ballon d'Or, and he may compete for several of them over the next decade. Of course, Yamal is not Lionel Messi. He does not need to be. The image of Messi watching Yamal lift the World Cup did not create the change of era. It only made it visible. Lamine Yamal is not waiting to become football's next superstar. He already is one. European champion, world champion, Barcelona's attacking leader, all before turning 20. You may have seen him as a wonder kid. You may have thought he was simply the next great winger from La Masia. But after everything he has already done, you will never look at Lamine Yamal the same way again.
Pero me pasa mucho que cuando llego a una competición pienso que la voy a ganar.
And whether the world is ready or not, the Lamine Yamal era has already begun. Lamine Yamal is not the new Lionel Messi. He is not the new Cristiano Ronaldo either. He is the first Lamine Yamal, and the frightening truth is that his career has started faster than almost every modern legend before him. It began in Rocafonda. Born in 2007, Yamal turned the number 304 from his local postcode into a celebration recognised around the world. He joined La Masia as a child and, on 29th April 2023, made his Barcelona debut at just 15 years and 290 days old. But don't get me wrong, making your debut that young guarantees absolutely nothing. Football is full of wonder kids who arrived early and disappeared just as quickly. Yamal did the opposite. During the 2023-24 season, he became the youngest starter, assist provider and goal scorer in La Liga during the 21st century. He also became the youngest player ever to appear in a Clásico. Then Spain called him up. At 16 years and 57 days, he became the country's youngest player and youngest goalscorer. Lionel Messi reached 100 appearances for Barcelona at 20 years and 248 days old. Cristiano Ronaldo reached 100 club appearances at 19 years and 348 days. Yamal did it at just 17 years and 292 days. By then he already had 22 goals, 27 assists, and 3 trophies. Cristiano had registered 13 goals and 13 assists at the same point. Messi had scored more, but needed almost 3 additional years to reach the landmark. That is not an opinion. Euro 2024 was the moment he stopped being viewed as a promising academy player. He became the youngest player to appear in the tournament, the youngest to score, and the youngest to play in a final. Against France in the semi-final, Spain were behind when Yamal received the ball from the right, shifted inside, and curled an impossible strike into the top corner, an absolute madness. In the final, he assisted Nico Williams and finished the tournament as European champion and best young player. When he lifted the trophy at 17 years and 1 day old, he became younger than Pelé had been when winning the 1958 World Cup. Pelé was 17 years and 249 days. The 2024/25 season then proved that Euro 2024 had not been a one-off. He scored in Barcelona's 4-0 win at the Bernabeu, found the net again in the Spanish Super Cup final, provided 2 assists in the Copa del Rey final, and dominated the League Clásico that moved Barca closer to the title. Against Benfica, he became the youngest player to score and assist in the same Champions League match. But the most frightening performance came against Inter Milan. In the Champions League semi-final, Yamal made his 100th Barcelona appearance, scored, and became the youngest goalscorer ever at that stage of the competition. Even when his team loses, he still becomes the main story. In 2025, France faced him again in the Nations League semi-final. Yamal scored twice as Spain won 5-4. By then, the pattern was clear. Every time the level increased, Yamal became more dangerous. Later, he won the Copa Trophy for a second time, becoming the first footballer to retain the award. Then came another historic milestone. In 2026, Yamal reached 100 La Liga appearances at 18 years and 272 days old, beating Raúl's record by more than a year. And he did not celebrate the landmark with a quiet performance. Against Espanyol, he scored and provided 2 assists. He did not simply reach the record, he decided the match. Then came the World Cup. Yamal scored against Saudi Arabia, constantly troubled Belgium,
Avanza, Lamine le pega!
and won the penalty that changed the semi-final against France.
No se da cuenta que viene
In the final against Argentina, he became the 3rd youngest player ever to appear in a World Cup final. Then he won it. That made him the youngest footballer ever to win both the European Championship and the World Cup. And this is where the comparison with the legends becomes truly ridiculous. Johan Cruyff made his World Cup debut at 27. Cristiano Ronaldo and Diego Maradona were 21. Lionel Messi was 19 and still played a secondary role. Ronaldo Nazario became a world champion at 17, but did not play in the tournament. Kylian Mbappe was brilliant and won the World Cup at 19, but none of them had won both the European Championship and the World Cup before turning 20. That does not mean Yamal has already had a greater career than those names. Yamal is not following the same timeline as Messi, Cristiano, Pelé, Maradona or Mbappe. He is creating his own.
Si no está en la habitación, ha metido Mbappé, yo también quiero meter un gol, ha metido Messi, yo también quiero... No, me da igual. O sea, primero porque me sacan 10 años todos.
A timeline in which he debuted earlier, broke records sooner, and started winning the biggest trophies before almost anyone else. That is why calling him the next Messi completely misses the point. He is not trying to inherit somebody else's story. He is building a beginning that belongs only to him. And so far, it is a beginning greater than almost every legend who came before him. Lamine Yamal is not simply a winger who receives wide and tries to beat his fullback. He changes the entire defensive structure of the opposition. Spain use him from the right, but his influence begins before he touches the ball. His width pins the left back, forces the opposition winger to retreat, and creates space inside for Pedro Porro, Dani Olmo, and the midfielders. Against Saudi Arabia, we saw his natural brilliance. After only 41 seconds, he received under pressure and escaped Salam Al-Dawsari with a Cruyff turn. His first touch prepared the action, his body protected the ball, and one movement completely removed the defender. An absolute madness. He can create like a winger and arrive like a striker. Against Portugal, Nuno Mendes and the nearby support gave him less space, but instead of forcing the dribble, Yamal showed his maturity. In the 65th minute, he received on the right and carried the ball forward. Portugal immediately moved several defenders towards him. Yamal lifted his head and switched the play towards Alex Baena, who received completely free and shot. That action explains one of his greatest qualities. When 2 or 3 defenders surround him, space opens somewhere else. His individual danger becomes a collective weapon. Against France, he combined his 2 main threats, receiving 2 feet and attacking the space behind the defence. In the 53rd minute, he controlled with his back to goal near the touchline. Lucas Digne moved close, expecting to trap him. Yamal turned, escaped and accelerated into open space, forcing Bradley Barcola to chase him and stop the transition. A harmless reception became an attack against a disorganised defence within seconds. 2 minutes earlier, he had shown the opposite movement. Pedro Porro took a free kick and Yamal ran behind the French line. He received from a tight angle and tried to lift the ball over Mike Maignan. The action was ruled out for offside, but it revealed the impossible problem defenders face. But the World Cup final against Argentina revealed his most complete version. Spain attacked in a 3-2-5, with Pedro Porro balancing behind Yamal while the winger held the width on the right. Argentina placed Nico Gonzalez close to Nicolas Tagliafico to create constant 2 versus 1 situations, but every player sent towards Yamal opened space elsewhere. Early in the match, he received inside the penalty area and combined with Dani Olmo. Instead of watching his pass, he immediately attacked the space, received the return ball as the third man, and finished low. Pass, move, attacked the box. He started the action as a winger and ended it like a forward. In the second half, Yamal escaped the double marking again, this time by attacking outside. He reached the byline and delivered a measured cross towards Ferran Torres, whose header was saved by Emiliano Martinez. Pause, change of pace, perfect delivery. Then came the action that decided the World Cup. Before Pedro Porro crossed, Yamal received wide and attracted 2 Argentine defenders. Argentina shifted towards him and left Porro completely free. The full-back received with time, lifted the ball towards Nico Williams, and Ferran Torres finished the move. Yamal did not receive the assist. He did not even receive the pass before the assist, but he created the advantage that decided the final. That is his true tactical importance. Yamal is not a finished player. He began as an unbelievable 1 versus 1 winger. Now he is becoming a complete attacking organiser who decides where the move goes, creates space for others, and influences matches without appearing in the final statistics. That is why he is the next great leader of football's new generation. Messi and Cristiano defined one era. Mbappe and Haaland appeared ready to control the next one, but Yamal entered that conversation earlier than anyone expected. Before turning 20, he had already won La Liga, the European Championship, and the World Cup. He had already decided Clásicos, semi-finals, and international finals. That is why he can win this Ballon d'Or. Not because of hype, not because he came from La Masia, and not because the world wants another Messi. He can win it because he has the trophies, the production, the tactical influence, and the performances on the biggest stages. But his story is bigger than one award. Lamine Yamal may win this Ballon d'Or and compete for many many more over the next decade, because he is not simply another brilliant winger. He is the player every opponent must rebuild its defensive plan around, the player who can decide a final with a dribble, a pass, a run, or simply by attracting two defenders. That is why you will never look at him the same way again. He is not waiting to inherit the next era of football, he has already started it.